I'm starting in Adobe Bridge and going to make a series of images into new file formats. If I look at my Chapter 2 folder and click the little triangle to expand, you'll see I've got a Monterey aquarium folder. And there's some pictures of jellyfish. What I'd like to do is take the raw camera JPEGs and put them into Photoshop format so that I can make edits. I'm going to use some of these for backgrounds for a brochure that I'm working on. At the same time, the person I'm working with wants to view these, and I don't want to eat up their inbox or use some online service to send them the big original files because they're just proofing. They don't need my high-res data. So I want to make small emailable versions of these to compress and attach. So what I'll do is click the first image, shift-click the last image, and Photoshop has an automation tool called the Image Processor. And Bridge, which I launched through File, Browse in Bridge in Photoshop, hooks me into the Image Processor. It's a script that's basically written for you. So under my Tools menu and Photoshop, I'm going to run the Image Processor with the images I want to convert to a new format selected. Now I'm going to select my desktop and make a finished folder for my final new converted images. So when I hit the radio button in step 2 and choose Select Folder, I'll go to my desktop and make a new folder. On Windows, your new folder will be at the top. I always say it's the sparkly folder. And I'll name this folder Finished. And open. I want to make 2 files at once. With the JPEGs, I want them small enough that they can be emailed, so I typically shoot for a quality between 6 and 8. I'll go with 6 for this one. And I'll resize it to a smaller size that's just big enough for most people to get a decent look at the image. 800, and I'll press Tab, 600. Now when I'm finished with this, I usually add _ SM, S as in Sam, M as in Mary, for small, so I know that they are not the camera original JPEG. I had saved as TIFF earlier today, but I don't need TIFFs in this case. Sometimes I use the image processor to take all my layered Photoshop files and deliver flattened TIFFs to the print shop because they don't need the layers, the files are all finished, and it will save on file size for uploading for their FTP, their File Transfer Protocol, the web upload service that they use. I personally want Photoshop documents, PSDs, and I don't want them resized. I want them uncompressed and ready for me to work on in Photoshop. So when I hit Run, it's whipping through all of these, and it happens so fast. I will hit F11 on my Mac to hide everything and take a look at my desktop. And inside here, I have a JPEG folder where the images are super tiny, 65K, 77K. In fact, I could zip this right now by right-clicking and compressing it. And it's 300K, super small and efficient. I get a little frustrated when people send back and forth the uncompressed or raw camera files because it just eats up the inbox and I may only need to look at the image. So this is a kind thing to do. Now the Photoshop files, if I expand to see their file size, all between 6 and 7 megs, some close to 8. But to make sure I don't confuse these with the ones that came from my consumer class camera, I'm going to come back to Bridge, come back to my Finished folder, and into the JPEG folder, and select All again. Edit, select All. And then I'll choose Tools, Batch Rename, but I'll keep the current file name, and I'll leave the case, and I'll attach new text of _SM for small. And here's what each file will get. So when I hit rename, they're done, and I don't confuse them with the untouched original images from the camera. As a final note, if I don't remember what camera I owned at the time, or I want to see what camera model it is, in the metadata, metadata means extra data about the file stored in the file, you can scroll down and often see the device that it came from. So I'm going to expand everything. I could see that I took it because I attached the metadata when I captured the image. They were just iPhone images, not even a consumer class camera. So the iPhone 3GS, my last generation iPhone. Pretty cool just off of an iPhone. So that is the image processor, which is under Tools, Photoshop, Image Processor. You can convert to one of three formats, or all three at once, or 2 out of 3. You decide. It's an excellent automation tool.